I made this pump oiler out of scrap. It's wide enough so I don't need a funnel, as is the case with commercial units. It works well with ball oilers and generic squirting. This end of the pipe shall become the base. I need to true the bore to press in a sealing plug. The auto carriage stop is used to make repeated cuts to the same depth to form a shoulder. The pipe is flipped around. I need to true the bore to fit the pump to the inside of the pipe. The auto carriage is set to trip with the boring bar this far in. A pipe center is used to true the outside diameter before threading. Then a thread gutter is turned. I switch the lathe from feed to threading. Then make a scratch pass to verify that the pitch is correct. The threading tool swings upwards to clear the workpiece. The auto carriage stop is set to trip when the tool gets to the thread gutter. The outside diameter of the cap is first trued. The cap shall be bored to a diameter equal to the outside diameter minus the pitch of 1 mm, that is 46.6 mm. The boring bar is located at the end of the cap, and the auto carriage stop set to trip there. The grooving tool I built is used to turn a thread gutter at the bottom of the cap. This shall also serve to hold a gasket. The lathe is set for internal threading. The threading tool swings out to clear the workpiece. And the filler cap is done. The base plug is cut from flat stock. It is then turned for a press fit in the body. A recess is cut for an O-ring. This dish-shaped washer shall be welded to the plug. The base is trued. It is then pressed in the body. This piece of half-inch stock shall become the pump housing. The part was then squared. I finish it on the surface grinder so it doesn't feel left out. The part is centered on the mill and held so for the rest of its machining. This hole is located the length of the radius of the body from one of the edges. The hole is drilled and tapped. The housing is fitted on an arbor to turn one edge to the same curvature of the inside of the body. The pump body is drilled through with a 3 mm drill. The hole is then widened partway to 5 mm and tapped M6 as shown. A ball bearing is hammered to form a seat to better seal. The remaining parts of the check valve are assembled. The pump body is flipped around to be drilled and tapped M8 for the oil inlet fitting. The hole was widened to 5 mm to give the check valve ball room to move. The discharge port is then drilled to intersect with the hole drilled through the body. It is then tapped M8 for a fitting. The piston bore is drilled to intersect with the hole drilled through the body, and reamed 7 mm. The bore is then polished. It is then drilled 7.5 mm partway and threaded M9 for a fitting. And the pump body is ready. This is the piston bore. The discharge port. Inlet port with check valve. And discharge check valve. This bolt shall become the piston and the fitting shall be made from this one. The piston is turned for a sliding fit in the bore. A groove for an O-ring is turned. The part is then flipped around and the stem turned. The tip is turned to a smaller diameter to form a shoulder. It is then threaded for a button. The piston end is given a taper to ease the fitting of the O-ring. A groove for a screwdriver is cut on the piston end. The button is turned from some brass, it is then drilled and tapped. The piston fitting is drilled for the stem and threaded M9. The piston is assembled and fitted to the pump body. The inlet fitting is made from an 8mm bolt. It is first drilled through with a 3mm drill. This 4mm ball shall act as a check valve. The hole is widened partway to fit a tube. And this is how the inlet fitting comes together. No spring is required. The delivery fitting shall be made from this bolt and brake line. The bolt is drilled through and then drilled partway with a larger drill to accommodate the brake line. The pump is assembled for a preliminary trial. The pump body is drilled for the pump and delivery fittings. And a flat is milled. A gasket is fitted between the pump and body. I was going to fit a seal to the inside of the cap. However, it seems that the fine thread and properly mating surfaces prevent oil from leaking. It also allows for sufficient venting. And she is a squirter.